Mike, is there anything else, any other bets right now that interest you outside the NFT world? We chatted a little bit before this. I wish I would have pressed record early enough. We were kind of joking that it's slim pickings out there, but at the same time, it's hard not to want to punt on some of these things. Like, I like the look of Solana and AVAX, and I do think when the market starts going up, these go up fast. The tough part is, though, it's just the time aspect. Like, you can buy kind of close to the bottom. You can think the Bitcoin bottom was at 17K. Maybe it was. Maybe the ETH bottom was at $900 or $1,000. It's just, you might have to, like, buying Solana at $25. That might all be good. You just might have to wait 6 months or 12 months. And that's the thing I'm trying to wrestle with in my head. You've made a lot of bets in your life. You probably have, I like the way that you think through some of these bets. Like, how are you thinking about whether or not to shove more money in versus is this a spot you're folding on?
So the first thing I'll say here is that I think that this bear market could play out quite different than prior bear markets, where, if you look at altcoins through 2015, or you look at altcoins through 2018, there was this sort of dynamic where the protocols weren't really doing anything. Like, I was a big Augur user through 2018, and there was 60 daily active users or something. It was it was just sort of, hey, if there was 1,000, I probably would have kept using Augur forever or whatnot. Where it's just kind of too few people. 2018, there were just so few daily active users, and so it's like going through. So I guess to my point, even the 2018, 2019 bear market, there wasn't that much to do. Like, I know some people that were early on Uniswap. Most of them did, quite well financially, but I didn't know about Uniswap until 2020, mid 2020. And it was just sort of, but right now there are so many things being built that, I don't know that altcoins in this cycle will get wrecked as hard as they did in prior cycles, where, it used to kind of be that, it seemed pretty obvious, like Bitcoin will outperform ETH, will outperform, like ETH killers or whatnot, where it's sort of, if we were to have this environment where, hey, if a new guy comes into crypto, he just finds crypto tomorrow, well, what's he going to do? Okay, well, if you're investing $1,000, you probably can't afford gas on ETH, even though gas on ETH is the lowest it's ever been. Okay, you're going to go to some other chain. As far as bringing in new users, these kind of, you can have your kind of ideological investments, like, you hold Bitcoin or Ethereum, just use it on exchange. You never actually use them for their intended purpose. You can definitely do that. But as far as actually this sort of skin in the game, I'm investing in this network to speculate on things in the network, use the actual use case, etc. It's much easier to picture how things like Solana, AVAX, Phantom, etc., could outperform through a bear market. So that is something I find quite interesting.
I just think the key takeaway of what you're describing on things you want to punt on in this bear market for avoid and lessons from the past is a lot of the stuff that you're going to want to buy probably isn't out yet. And it might even take halfway through the bull market to realize what's going to be the most exciting or what's the best opportunity. So I'm being very patient. I do like the Solana, the AVAX. I think they're cheap, but I'm glad I have this podcast to keep me busy and not punt those things all day long because, a lot of good stuff could come out later. Who knows how long we go through this chop phase, but...
so the one thing I would kind of say, and this is sort of my, maybe this is a little broad, if you're like a, class of 2021, you haven't been through a bear market yet, you're wondering why, an old jaded BTC maxi is, here. I basically think that a lot of people, the whole system is really set up to kind of prey on retail's risk tolerance. It's like when you mentioned, okay, a 400 million GameFi fund, I doubt any of that is top buying XE. It's never like, oh, here's this thing that's on the market. It's been around for years. It's got a 10 billion market cap. Let's go put 50 million in there. It's almost all of these funds are just about getting in early enough and getting connected to the right people. And I'm not speaking to his fund in particular, but just the fund model in general. I really feel like before you're allowed to use Binance or use FTX, I feel like everyone should need to take a weekend course on how much of a
how crypto works.
Yeah, and just how many, you look at this chart, oh, founders get this king gets this, you realize that, when you're paying $1 for something, 70% of the pie has already been taken. You're funding all these people, and 2, the shit that you're hearing about, it's because it's pumped 10x. Okay, well, you're paying at, 30x the rate that other people did. And, not to say that that's categorically bad, but just that on average, you're aligned with this, fancy, successful investor who's made so much money. Well, why is this fancy, successful investor made so much money? Because he got in at 3 cents on the dollar relative to what you did. And if you want to still buy then, totally fine. Be my guest. Satoshi got his coins a lot cheaper than I got mine. But it's just, the things that have been around for a while, and the things that people are mostly buying with USD at current market cap is so different from tokens that people have been given and then advertise using them, and it's just a scary environment for retail. And the time for retail to consider buying is alts or whatnot is probably now or lower, rather than like when crypto's on TV, you have like fucking crypto founders hanging out with politicians. You have fucking Tom Brady and Bill Clinton giving speeches, and it's really it really is just I don't know, it's just like it's a scary environment because it's so predatory to retail, I guess. Everyone, give us your money, we'll pay you 6% a year, and then steal it all. Every single one of these projects that puts all your money together, they all steal? Like, is there a single one of these, hey, we'll make you 6% a year on your Bitcoin that didn't rug? It's just fuck.
It's just brutal, dude.
I think we are in, to me, the most interesting space on earth. I think, and you can't really let a price action take away from that. But it's sort of we're in this thing that I think people are going to keep joining. People are going to keep building interesting things. There's going to be a lot of brilliant minds launching things this year, next year, 5 years from now. But it is like the ups are fast and the downs are long. Anyway, so that's
Time is a flat circle. We keep going through this damn cycle. That is valuable insight. Whether or not you're into NFTs, that's just so true for tokens. If you bought something at $1 or $2 and it's at $250 next cycle, sure, it could go to $1,000. But if you're looking at your friend and you guys both don't want to buy more at $250, think about that. And I think that's also valuable right now with a lot of tokens. I'd look at some things that are down at $20, $30, $40 that got up to 300, and they do, and they seem like good buys. But as you said, it's like, where'd the majority of people buy last cycle? If the answer is like $1.20, then $30 sounds a lot less attractive. So I think that's super valuable.